Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from assortofinterestinlife.com, and today we're going to talk about the big question I get an awful lot: would I move back to a house? Now, it's very easy for me to give a short answer and say no, not really, but it's the reasons why that I would like to talk about, as I think a short video where I go, would I move back to a house? Nah, isn't going to be great viewing. So, anyway, the general idea is, and what people always pitch to me, this idea of it, if I suddenly got given a house, would I move back into it? And if I had, first of all, a house, then in normal circumstances that would instantly mean I had a lot of bills and a lot of extra cost that I would suddenly have to start paying, which fundamentally would strike at the heart of what I want my life to be about, which is having all this free time from living a very low cost life that I can get away with only working 2 days a week and more than cover my costs. And that obviously then gives me all the free time to actually go out and enjoy life. And if you've seen my videos walking up mountains and out in the kayak and just generally being able to go out walking, biking, do all my writing and things like that, and have all the free time to do it, so I can really enjoy these things and not be like, right, I've got a day off in 6 days time, I'll get some things sorted in the morning and I might go for a quick walk. It's that sort of thing. It's the heart of the lifestyle that I want. And the difference between a house and a boat is, as I've said, a boat could cost an awful lot to run, and you could have a super big boat and all mod cons, the nicest thing you've ever seen, and keep it in a marina, and it could be incredibly expensive if you wanted it to be. But for me, I've been able to find myself this nice cheap lifestyle and bring everything down to the basics, and that is something that even with a house that didn't have a mortgage, if I was just given a house outright, just the basic costs and various things associated with running a house and heating a big house rather than just this tiny little space would instantly make it a lot more costly than the way that I live on Little Tilly here. And that's the first thing, the practical side, and also the sort of the grand scheme of what I want to do in my life sort of side of things. It's like, if I had a house, it would be fantastic to have, like, oh yeah, this is a solid base that's always going to be here. And don't get me wrong, in fact that's something that I enjoyed over winter mooring, and also with my time spent up at Chirk Marina, and maybe even a marina later on this year. I like the way that I point down or up the canal depending on where these places I'm thinking about are. So you've got that element, and I can certainly say, yes, it'd be nice to have a house that you could come back to and it would already be roasting hot and lovely and warm at night, instead of getting on here and, like you've seen in the previous videos, and if you've seen the Narrowboat lad short film I made, I talk about getting back and doing the fire and that. I mean, you certainly come back to some proper bitter cold and very wet nights sometimes, but it's all sort of a part of the lifestyle that I enjoy too. As much as I can say, if you had a house that your central heating would have been on half an hour before you got back and all that, great stuff, yeah. But for me, those sorts of benefits don't outweigh, like, as I've said, the things that I'm looking out of the window and seeing. I'm not going to go through a list of all the amazing scenery and that now, but in general, I'll turn the camera out so you can see through the window now. This is the same spot I've been in for my winter mooring, so you might be familiar. But if I just... and it's that sort of scenery that I absolutely love. But the fact that I can change this at any given moment is the real key, because in a month's time I'm going to be miles away and I'm going to have a completely different view through the window, and also a completely different stretch of canal to walk, to bike, to kayak along, and then all of the paths and all of the walking that I can do disappearing off from that new starting point. And it is really this theme of being able to be out here in the middle of nowhere, on the doorstep, to get out on my bike, to get out on the kayak, that lets me literally hop on my jacket, chuck this over to the side, and then off we go. That's our day sorted. Step off the boat, in this case stepping onto the waterside straight into a kayak, or onto the towpath, and goodness knows where you could be within 10 minutes. And that's what I love, the fact that the patch of ground or the stretch of water you step off the boat into is going to be different whenever you want it to be. And even somewhere like this isn't particularly rural. I mean, there's industrial estate there, which luckily is really quiet, and then the houses are literally, if I lean forwards, just down the front there. But still, we are, for all intents and purposes, just in the absolute middle of nowhere. And when you can change from place to place, and I mean, I'll show you over the year some of the really super rural places that we're going to be mooring up, and I just absolutely couldn't ask for any more. And that's the core of what I love. Just, well, this being nowhere. As a perfect demonstration of that idea of giving up more and more stuff to have more free time and more actual, I don't know, time to get out there and live, or whatever romantic or quotes you'd like to put to it. Basically, just to enjoy life. And that's really summed up by when I was first looking at getting a boat, and I was looking for about 40 to 45 foot rather than the 30 foot that Tilly is. But as time went on and I saved more money and got more and more impatient of, oh, buy a boat, can't wait to get a boat, I started to realise that I didn't want all of the things that these bigger boats had. I was thinking more and more of like, right, I'm sure I can work around if I didn't have that. And I was thinking more in terms at first of like, if stuff broke down and I couldn't fix it, that sort of thing. But as time went on, it was like, oh yeah, well, I can heat myself with my wood burner, do all the cooking, got your kitchen sink, shower and toilet, lights, and, well, a little solar panel for electricity. What more do you want? And that's how I ended up looking at smaller and smaller boats and ending up with a tiny 30-foot vessel like Tilly. And that really, I think, is one of the demonstrations of I gave up more and more stuff because I was so excited to do this, and it certainly has led to a very compact, close quarters basic living. But that itself is exactly what the rest of this video is talking about, really. Yeah, just wanted to throw this in while I was thinking about it. So I hope you've enjoyed this random little chat. Been trying to do a few different sort of videos for a change, just little short ones and single question videos like this. And I have had a lot of recent questions because there's been a lot of new subscribers recently, so thank you all and welcome to the channel. I've got plenty of good boat stuff coming though. In a few weeks, once we get travelling again, my goodness me, is Narrowboat life going to open up to us. Now hopefully you can see me properly because it's extremely bright sunlight. And once again, I'll just say, this is meant to be winter still. Anyway, I'll say thanks for watching, check out my other videos and subscribe if you haven't for obviously loads more boat life stuff. Feel free to add my personal Facebook account as well, an awful lot of you have done now, so thanks and hello again. Obviously like the Facebook page, check out my books about life afloat, The Narrowboat Lad and The Narrowboat Lad Living the Dream. And until the next time, really, just have a fantastic day, and hopefully I will see you again soon, and it's going to be good weather like this still. Farewell. Whoa.